Hello, this is Boyd from AIRBOYD, and I got a supply drop from Thrustmaster today. Looks like we've got a few products here. We got the Pendulum Thrustmaster Rudder System. We've got the new TCA Sidestick Airbus Edition joystick, and we have the Thrustmaster Weapons Control System Throttle. We're going to mix them all together in my rig as we come up here for the Microsoft Flight Simulator launch. So let's start with the rudder system. So I already took this out the box to try and make this a little less noisy as we unbox it here. The product is solid metal. It weighs 7 kilos, about 15 pounds. I haven't put it together yet, but it does come with everything you need. Got wrenches and Allen keys, and pretty solid rudder system. I'll get this put together, and like I said, it's really heavy. It's got quite an actuator system on the back that they use to try and generate the kind of forces that you need. You can see that here as I go ahead and move them around. USB plugs into the system. Very excited to be trying this out. I did use this on a earlier press version of the Microsoft Flight Simulator. Did find that even with the weight of 7 kilos, 15 some odd pounds, that attaching this to some kind of base while you're using it is useful to stop it from moving around too much. I did find myself, when I was trying to do aerobatics, stepping on the rudder pedal just a bit hard and knocking it over. Let's go ahead and move on to the throttle system. Now this is Thrustmaster's Weapons Control System Throttle, used with a lot of the other games, A10, etc. And what it should do and allow for me in Microsoft Flight Simulator here is a little more finesse and fine control. I'm not going to need all the extra controls and everything that's on here, but what it does do, and something I do like with the Thrustmaster products, is they do allow you to have extra control of something even if you didn't have it. So these up here can be used for the rudder system, for example, if you didn't have a full-size rudder. So just because you're not throwing a lot of money in your system doesn't mean you can't have more functionality. And the Throttle Quadrant here, I'm hoping to be able to set this up with some of the aircraft in there, particularly the Boeing 747, as we know that is one of the initial aircraft that's going to be launched with it. So we've got rudders, we got a throttle system, and then we're going to go take a look at what is relatively new, obviously a licensed product, the Sidestick TCA Thrustmaster. It's not too heavy, sort of in the same realm as some of the other systems. Now you can see it does have a pretty good key system set up here. Again, this is something I like about the Thrustmaster product, is they set it up so that you have a lot of options in one device. If you don't have your own throttle quadrant, there is an Airbus style throttle quadrant here, complete with reverse thrust on the bottom. And again, you've got all the sort of things you'd expect: trigger controls, push to talk, multiple adjusting switches that can all be done. They even have left-handed and right-handed, so if you were going to be using it on opposite sides or have more than one of them to put it in. So looking forward to getting all this together, the Microsoft Flight Simulator, testing it, finding how it all goes. This is obviously a fairly decent investment to your flight simulator, but it's something that is worthwhile if you're going to be doing a lot of it or would really like to enjoy it. As Microsoft Flight Simulator is way back to 1982, still basically keyboard based, and you have to either map the keys or have something that's been done. They do have programming software for a lot of these, so looking forward to seeing how it is and get you some video of it working. Really interested to see how the Airbus side stick works, because I've done nothing but fly Boeings my entire career, and it's probably time for me to try the other side. So continuing the unboxing, here's just a little bit further on the Pendulum rudder system. As you can see, I've put the rudder pedal on one side and I haven't connected it on this side yet. So what I'm going to show you is this is very modular and customizable. On the back of each of the pedals, you have different holes. Go ahead, it goes in there through that hole here. The small adjustment, the sensor goes on here. Then you have different heights so that you can get different locations on how you want the pedals for your particular setup at home. Another nice thing about this is completely independent brakes. You can go right, left, and as I showed you earlier, a pretty strong system. If you want it even further customizable, you're just not happy with the basic part of it, Thrustmaster has their Target Advanced Programming software, which is the Thrustmaster Advanced Programming Graphical Editor. so that you can set it up for multiple games and different ways of using it. There's not much that can't be customized on this. Feel force, height, tow height, really being able to use this as you would a real rudder in a real aircraft. Again, something I've really been looking forward to getting on a home simulator is the rudders, mostly just so I can steer around on the ground and not have to use the keyboard. But obviously an important part about flying, and I'll be able to use this and apply it to the learning system that's also available online for many of these simulator programs. Looking further into the Sidestick Airbus Edition TCA joystick by Thrustmaster, hidden in the bottom, I almost didn't see them in the cardboard, is the left and right buttons if you wanted to reverse the joystick for left-handed or right-handed. It's not just a matter of modularly taking out, turning around. They are fully featured left and right buttons. As I mentioned, one of the things I do like about the Thrustmaster is that they allow you to do different things in one unit. As you do this left and right through the joystick, that allows rudder control within the joystick, so you don't have to have a separate rudder system. Something that's pretty good. Now, the Thrustmaster TCA system also works with Thrustmaster's target software. They also have a separate T-Flight rudder pedal system. They make an Airbus Edition Throttle Quadrant and a flying clamp if you didn't need it, but this actually seems to stick to most table surfaces pretty well. It's just rubberized feet. It's got a nice solid base, something that I don't think you'd ever have trouble flying on the side. Of course, that does leave this hand-free to mouse or use the keyboard as you're going along. Very useful on programs like Microsoft Flight Simulator, as you're going to sit there and be pushing buttons on the avionics. Now, one of the things I do hope that comes out in the future here with Microsoft Flight Simulator is some of the add-ons that we already have for past games, like the Garmin 1000 add-ons that you can use with an iPad or other touchscreen device. Can be very useful as this starts to get to be a bigger and larger environment. So much stuff is done through commercial aircraft that really is programmed through their FMCs, and it'll be nice to see that. Now, one of the other things, of course, about this is not just an Airbus yoke. You can use this as any other Sidestick plane, Cirrus, what have you. So, now looking further at the Thrustmaster weapon control system, basically it's standard sliding throttle quadrant. What it does have, and this is sort of their entry-level device, is a lot of controls on it for hands-on throttle and stick flying, as they would call it. What I'm hoping to find out is, as we load this into a flight simulator program, is we might be able to use some of these additional joysticks and clickers all over here to select vision, for example, to look around. There's a nice rotating switch back here that you might be able to use to zoom in and zoom out, change the views, all with one hand. So you can imagine having a full control over what you can see with your head, moving your head around the cockpit, inside and outside, changing the view, while still being able to hold the yoke or side stick if you're using an Airbus, for example. What I do hope that I might get to see someday as we go along here is Thrustmaster really makes some impressive heavy-duty products for the military line. The A-10 Warthog and F-18 hands-on throttle and stick modules are just amazing looking with dedicated switches. They look like they're made from solid metal. We might try and get those on here a little bit later and maybe get some military simulation software on here as well. So as I get along here in my build, we'll find out what I can accomplish and what I can get out for you. Thanks for watching. Quick unboxing today. We'll get on with more of this later.